Here's Brody Brazil.
Initially I saw one big development come out for Major League Soccer, and I thought, all right, I've been covering this. I've got to do a follow-up. And then I saw the other big piece of news for MLS, and I realized maybe this is two different videos, but instead I'm going to do it all in one swing. Two for the price of one. Two huge changes for Major League Soccer. I think both of these are very positive developments. I agree with them. I can't wait to see how they turn out. In fact, I hope you watch this video in 5 to 10 years from now, and I hope you're able to tell me that I was somewhat right about these two things, that they both made a significant impact. And you can see them here on the thumbnail as well as on your screen. The Apple TV deal has been modified. It's not necessarily a new deal, kind of feels new in some ways. I'll explain it in just a second, but it's better for viewership. It should go over much well for sports fans in general. Also, MLS is changing their entire season calendar. They're flip-flopping the calendar year of when they play games and when their off-season is. They are much more going to align with the rest of the world's soccer schedules. More on that in just a second. But let's begin with this brand new Apple TV deal. It's no longer going to last a duration of 10 total years. It is going to come to a contractual conclusion after 6.5 years. So instead of 2032, the deal now expires after the 2028-29 season. MLS is getting an additional $50 million than they would have over this next time span of a couple years. So I don't know if that's the biggest deal, but yeah, they're still getting at least the same amount, but obviously $50 million more out of this. And of course, all of this creates just a little bit more urgency for Major League Soccer because this is no longer a real big 10-year deal. It's now only 6.5, so 3.5 years shaved off the end of this contract. That expiration is going to come around sooner. The value of the league, the revenue they're trying to create, it all has to really step up in these next several years before the end of the 28-29 campaign. So MLS is definitely thinking about that. You'll hear from their commissioner on that topic in just a second. But here's the biggest part. Here's the biggest takeaway, and let me just set the scene here for you. If you want to watch MLS matches now, all you need is Apple TV and a subscription to that. You don't need to buy Season Pass anymore. It's not Apple TV subscription plus extra. If you are already a subscriber to Apple TV, every match, all season long, is absolutely free. On your Apple TV, on your computer, on your phone, your tablet, wherever you want to bring your devices, you can watch MLS Soccer. And again, a lot of people subscribe to Apple TV, so it's not obscure. It's not something that's hard to find. A lot of people have access to this, and now it is essentially free. Like if you subscribe to Apple TV for all the different shows and Ted Lasso and anything else, you get an entire MLS season absolutely free. It comes with the price of what you're already paying. I'll say almost free. I know a lot of people are going to bother me in the comments and say, well, I'm not a subscriber, so of course it's not free. And you know what? You're right. So I will talk more about that in just a second. But that extra subscription, that season pass subscription, was a tough paywall to be behind. And MLS isn't really talking about it negatively. Apple's not talking about it negatively because it's now in the past. They don't want to really revisit that, but that extra subscription, like paying a subscription on top of a subscription, was probably not the best model for a lot of different people because of this. Regular fans, the hardcore MLS fans, they had no problem. They would pay for this, they would find their team, they would enjoy a really good broadcast. But it was the casual fans. Like MLS is trying to grow. MLS is established to a certain degree here in the United States, but they're still adding players, adding teams. They're still very much growing with the times. The casual fan just wasn't coming across MLS matches. On television, they weren't there. They still do have a limited agreement with Fox Sports Networks to show some of their games on linear television. But again, nobody was flipping past the channels or seeing what was on the stream guide and saying, oh, I can watch that, because they couldn't. The casual sports fan was kind of locked out. And if they want MLS to grow, they still need the casual sports fan. So all of this should put MLS, I think, in front of a lot more sports fans and eyeballs and viewers, and this should make MLS a lot more prominent. And it's very similar to what F1, Formula One, just did with Apple as well. They signed a new deal, which doesn't have that extra tier of subscription, right? There are some extra packages you can buy, but so long as you have an Apple TV subscription, just the subscription alone, you get to watch F1 qualifiers and races and a lot of other things that they broadcast. So it is as simple as that. Now just the price in the door of Apple TV comes with F1 and comes with a full season of MLS. By the way, F1 only here in the United States. The television rights for different countries, those are elsewhere. The TV rights for F1 in the United States are moving to Apple TV. But I also think that MLS really might want to maintain some kind of television presence, some broadcast presence. I know we're in 2025. Almost everybody has the ability to stream and they're watching their TV that way, but there still is that older audience that might be flipping channels. And so what if you're putting it basically for free on Apple TV, there's no extra subscription cost, throw like 50 matches on a Fox Sports network or somewhere that the casual general fan can easily find this on old school broadcast television. Don Garber is MLS's commissioner. Don said this about really the time between now and the expiration of the Apple deal, the current Apple deal, to get things right. Don said, I think it certainly has to happen. I think it certainly has to happen in order for us to be what we want to be, which was going to require us to have more revenues to be able to continue to invest in both infrastructure, player development, and signing great players so we could have a product that can compete with a very competitive soccer/football market globally. Essentially, MLS wants to step up. They want to do better. They want their teams to do better. They want to have better players. They want to have a better product. They need, in part, a better TV deal that they're going to try and get the next time around. So we look forward to continuing our relationship with Apple, and hopefully that grows our audience. And if our audience grows, that will deliver value for Apple and certainly deliver value for us because we'll have a larger audience to be able to think about how could we monetize that sometime in the future. And I know he's talking about you, the soccer fan, and trying to monetize you as the audience. Don't take it personal. He's trying to grow the business. He's trying to grow the game. He's trying to literally get more people out there to enjoy the product so that MLS can get a bigger and better deal so that they can double down on what they do. Also this, so we talked about the first half of it, was the Apple TV deal, the restructuring of that. MLS, by the way, is now changing seasons entirely. Not right away, so they still have one more old-fashioned season for 2026. They're going to have a sprint season to transition them, right? Instead of starting in the spring and going across the summer and ending in the fall. No longer is it spring to fall. It's now going to be summer to spring for their season schedule, which does follow the European format. All the leagues in England, in Spain, in Italy, and so on and so on. The European format is going to begin for MLS in July 2027. So what they're going to do is have one more old-fashioned season. They'll do a sprint season from February to May, really quick season of 2027. They'll try and fit that in, tuck it in nicely, and then in July of 2027, after just a few months off, do the first full, real European format on the calendar. So what does this mean for MLS in terms of totally overhauling when they play games? It is the exact opposite of the calendar year. It's not summer months anymore. We're talking about playing in the winter. We're talking about playing in some cold climates, maybe some snowy climates. They are taking a mid-winter break, a January and February break. More on that in a second. But you're also now competing for the first half of your season with the NFL. You're not competing with the NFL for your playoffs anymore, which is nice. And that's what the league values most, their playoffs. So they wanted to get their playoffs away from American football as much as possible. Totally understand that. But you now also don't have to shut down your playoffs like they had been all of these Novembers when they would take a 2-week break because of the mandated FIFA breaks in November. The players have to be available to their international teams. So they had to shut down the playoffs for 2 weeks between rounds. It really was terrible. They don't have to do that anymore now that they're flipping their schedule upside down. They also don't have to be off sync with European leagues and players and transfer windows. And when their season ends overseas, maybe they want to make the jump to MLS. No longer does making the jump mean sitting out another half year because MLS's season just concluded or doesn't start for anytime soon. So basically just being on everybody else's schedule soccer-wise across the world, it is very much going to help out MLS in just attracting talent alone. There's no more delay in the transfer. You're doing what everybody else is doing at the same time of year. So all of that, plus this, I mentioned that midwinter break earlier. It's going to be from mid-December to early or mid-February. So you do get to escape maybe the worst weather part of the year in North America, like January. No games in January, no matches in the snowy East Coast or the Midwest. At least they don't have to worry about those months and that time of year. It's a great time to honestly take off no matter what. And the football playoffs are going on. They don't want to compete with that. Let football do its thing, and then you can resume in February or mid-February and after that. I also think that this schedule shift could really be the start of MLS being taken, and I say this respectfully, more seriously across the world. They did the opposite thing at first because they wanted to be the alternate league. They wanted to be when soccer fans didn't have anything else to watch in the summertime and it was dry and it was boring. Hey, here's a soccer match on right now in the United States. It's MLS, but it's on and it's live. Well, times have changed since then, and MLS has gotten a little bit, bigger and better, and it's grown more respectable. Again, I do think this is part of being taken seriously. When you play your games in your league, when everybody else is doing it, you're kind of following suit. You're not going against the grain on purpose anymore. MLS players can now also participate in international tournaments and windows because of the timing here and the FIFA schedules. So you're really following suit with what everybody else is doing. You're literally in sync with everybody else. Also, the transfer windows aligning between Europe and the Americas. So players that want to come, they want to jump across the pond, they're easily able to do that now versus, again, when the seasons were off sync. All of this and that sprint season in between and shifting the schedules, I mean, has it really ever happened in our modern lifetime that a professional sports league has totally changed the time of year when they play games? That doesn't rarely ever happen. I can't even recall a time when that's happened. But the point is, this was super inconvenient, but it also felt inevitable. Like MLS had to do this. It's best for the league. It's what they probably should have started this way. I get it, why they went against the grain. But now I think they're doing the right thing. They're taking a difficult road to get there. But I definitely like both of these things. So again, MLS matches on a more prominent place, in a futuristic place. They're not going in reverse with their television product, their broadcast product. They're going forward with Apple TV in a great way. It's a shorter deal, so maybe both sides are saying, all right, we'll reevaluate this sooner, but they're going to put it in front of more eyeballs. That's a good thing, and they're going to change the season schedule to have it be more of a fall to spring type sport instead of the other way around. So that's what I have to say. I think both of these are good moves. Let me know if you agree in the comments section below. Do you like one of these things? Do you like both of these things? Also, while you're down there, thumbs up for this video. Helps me, the video, and the channel. And also, don't forget to subscribe. If you're new here, great to see you. Nice talking to you. I would love to see you back here next time. Hit that button, and that's the fastest way we can make next time happen. See you then.